Welcome to the Invaders of Homo Sapiens Conference. I am Jakeem, the Tapeworm, and to the right is my partner Cameron. We will discuss the game plan on how to take over the human race.
The most common types of tapeworms that can infect humans are the pork tapeworm, the beef tapeworm, the dwarf tapeworm, the fish tapeworm, and the dog tapeworm.
This is the Tania saginata. It's familiar to many of you. This is closely related to all of the species that we will be talking about in today's presentation.
Right here is one of our beautiful cousins, Tania solium, which is the pork tapeworm. So make sure that your pork is undercooked. As you see right here, this is another part of our family, Hymenolipidnana. This is also known as the dwarf tapeworm, and they are excellent at infecting adults and even your children.
This is the Diphyllobothrium latum tapeworm.
Right here is Didylidium caninum. This is the flea tapeworm. So if you don't have any animals such as cats and dogs, make sure you get some cats and dogs so we can show you a good time with our family member right here.
In order for us to continue to infect humans, we need to lay eggs in their nutrient source. To ensure that we get into their system, we need to make sure to tell the humans that eating raw food is good for them, and they won't know until years after that we've been in them. Our eggs will reach their intestine because they can withstand the stomach acid.
Thank you, Sister Cameron, for discussing how to attack. Now I will discuss the pesky innate immune system of these humans. First, there's stomach acid that can reach pHs so low that it destroys most things that exist inside of humans. Second are macrophages, which phagocytose pathogens within humans through PRRs and PAMPs. Second is dendritic cells, which present antigens as captured to lymphocytes within the human immune system, like T helper cells. Third is eosinophils, which destroy worms such as us. And how we avoid this? We coat ourselves with glycan proteins to throw off the host immune system. This will make the innate immune system usually not get rid of us, so they have to recruit B cells and T cells from the adaptive immune system.
The physical barriers that humans have against large multicellular pathogens are their skin, stomach acid, intestinal mucus produced by their glycocalyces, and their enterocytes.
B cells contain a constant region for signaling, a variable region for binding for antigens. They also contain membrane-bound B cell receptors, and usually this is in the form of immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulins, this pesky little thing is either an antibody or a BCR. They always starts out as IgD or IgM, but once we are in the picture, they isotype switch to IgE, and we are screwed with this through genetic recombination. Once they detect us, clonal expansion happens, and there are three signals for clonal expansion for proliferation, which is BCR to antigen, CD3 and BCR complex. This is a co-stimulatory signaling, and T cell dependent and independent signaling.
Immunoglobulin IgE is specifically designed to attack large multicellular helminths like ourselves. We need to avoid immunoglobulin E at all costs.
Isotype switching is the bane of our existence. Like I said, all immunoglobulins starts out as IgD and IgM. They can also switch to other forms through genetic DNA recombination, such as IgA, which is secreted at mucosal surfaces, and IgG, which creates opsonization and cytotoxic antibodies, which is the most effective. This is dependent on the transcription factor AID. Action, activation, induced cytidine deaminase. This induces nicks into DNA and moves upstream information.
We need to evade B cells because they contain B cell receptors. We contain PAMPs, or pathogen-associated molecular patterns. These are detected by PRRs, or pattern recognition receptors. The receptors that bind to our antigens are TRRs, CLRs, NLRs, RLRs, and CDSs. These receptors activate transcription factor NF-kappa B. This activates cytokines and interleukins and creates cytokine storms. All of these can detect PAMPs and should be avoided.
B cells go through developmental maturation activation stage. B cells, once activated, undergo clonal selection where they proliferate into a bunch of cells. During development, There's negative selection and positive selection. Negative selection ensures that do not bind to self-antigens within our body, causing an autoimmune response. Three possibilities of this is receptor editing, apoptosis, and energy. Positive selection ensures that when immature B cells leave the bone marrow, they get the important factors that they need to survive.
In order to evade T cells, we need to hide in privileged areas within the host with our antigenic disguises. We can attach directly to intestinal walls to prevent being flushed out through diarrhea or vomiting, or we can even house in non-flushable tissues like the brain, liver, and even the eyes.
B cells are activated by CD4 plus T cells, which is MHC2 extracellular, or the major histocompatibility complex 2. Cytotoxic T cells are CD8 plus, which are MHC1 or cytosolic. CD4 plus and CD8 plus are made through positive selection, which occurs in the thymus and ensures MHC binds correctly to TCR. CD4 plus expresses FOXP3 transcription factor, and T cells are activated by dendritic cells, which in turn are activated by PAMPs, which bring the antigens that we display to the lymph node to the T cell zone. So make sure that we avoid.
The most dangerous T cell subtype against large multicellular helminths is Th2. Th2 is designed to fight us by activating interleukin-4, eosinophils, mast cells, M2 macrophages, and isotype switching to IgE. These are all designed to fight us by increasing intestinal mucus production and peristaltic movements.
Now let's talk about how we evade the T cell defense system, and we do this by making humans vomit, having diarrhea, coughing, sneezing, and itching and scratching. But luckily for us, we are more superior than them, and they can never get rid of us.
By manipulating the innate immune system and avoiding the adaptive immune system, including B cells and T cells, we will be able to colonize within the human body and spread our eggs further and infect more hosts.
How do we live and grow in your body? Well, some of us produce an enzyme called arginine deaminase, or ADI, which helps actively consume the amino acid arginine for the main source of food. This depletion of arginine decreases intestinal epithelium cell growth and further causes the number of regulatory proteins to dwindle. These specific proteins are BTG3 and GADD45A. This absence of arginine causes increased mucosal permeability in intestinal epithelial cells and causes diarrhea.
And these are many sources we have used to continue our education of being able to infect Homo sapiens further.